Hello and welcome back to Sorare Assist. So we've got some scouting for you today, guys, so make sure you stick around to see who I've scouted this week. If you like this video, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're not signed up to Sorare yet, sign up using the link below. You'll get a free limited card. You'll also get to draft your fantasy teams. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter and check out SorareAssist.com. You can also support this content now, guys, just 99p by clicking that join button below. Your help is really appreciated. Okay then, let's get on to today's scouting. So we're scouting the MLS today, guys, so let's get straight stuck into it then. First player I've gone for is Jonathan Sorare of Toronto. He's only 30, he's got a contract till 2025. And the midfielder is going for a pretty good price at the moment, £8 around that for his limited, around 126 for his rare card. Now, looking at his score graph, you can see some really good scores here. Loads of green numbers, which was what we like to see. Some good 8-8 as well for the midfielder. In the last game, he actually got 2 assists in the 2 goals that Toronto managed to score in a 4-2 thrashing against Philadelphia Union. Due to these assists and his fantastic all-round score, he got a score of 100, which of course is the max score on Sorare. He's also had previous history of some decent scores as well when he's not injured, and as you can see during this period here, he was really on form. So I think Sorare is looking at a decent option. This season he started 8 games, 1 goal to his name, 3 assists as well, and he's averaging 1.5 key passes per game. His accurate pass per game is looking good as well, with 50 accurate passes per game and 86% accuracy. He's also chipping in defensively with an average of 1 interception per game and 1.4 tackles. If we look at this game where he got the 2 assists, he had an absolutely fantastic game here, guys, despite the loss. So he got the 2 assists, of course, but he had 105 accurate passes with 94% accuracy. He also had 4 key passes in this game as well, so it looked like he had a fantastic game here, and that's attributed to his score of 100. I think Sorare is a pretty decent pick there for Toronto, and I'm sure Toronto won't be getting thrashed 4-2 every week. Next up, we've got Alex Roldan of Seattle Sounders. Recently come back from an injury. He's 26, he's got a contract with Seattle until 2024. Of course, he is a defender as well on Sorare. Again, another player that's looking fairly cheap at the moment. And we can see that in his last game he got a score of 91. He's also got previous scores in the high numbers as well, including 2 100 scores as well. So he's looking a really good player, especially in defence, and his 8-8 average is looking good as well over the last year of 18.9. Now he does play right back majority of the time, but he can also play as left back, right midfield as well. And he's getting some really consistent scores, as you can see here, and peak scores as well, which is really what we like to see on a favourable fixture day. This season for Seattle, he's started 8 games. He's got 2 assists to his name as well. Good accurate pass numbers here, 53 accurate passes per game, 1.3 key passes per game as well. Of course, he is chipping in defensively of 1.1 interceptions, 2.1 tackles, 1.6 clearances. Also looks impressive. He had a fantastic game in the last game here. That's why I'm highlighting him. 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles. He also won a majority of his duels as well and had 75 passes in this one, guys. 75 accurate passes. He also had 5 key passes in this game, which was a 1-0 win in the end for Seattle Sounders. Alex Roldan was obviously a big factor in that victory. I think he's looking a really good option in defence, especially if you have got a bit of a Seattle stack going, or you've got the Seattle stack keeper who's been playing fantastically recently. Next up, we've got Diego Rubio of Colorado Rapids. Now, if you've been on Sorare for a number of years, you will know about this guy because he was fantastic in the MLS last season. He's only 29 and he's a forward on Sorare. He's also one of the more expensive forward options in the MLS, but that is due to his previous scoring history for the Chilean. We can see here from his score graph that he has got a number of high scores attributed to his goals, but he's also got a decent 8-8 score as well for a forward. He did actually get an assist in this last game in a 1-1 draw against St. Louis City, who had a really good start to the season, and he's generally playing as an attacking midfielder, as you can see here, and that is why he's got a good 8-8 score as well. So he's definitely a really good option. As you can see, he's scoring and assisting plenty of goals. This season for Colorado has started 4 games, appeared in 5, 1 goal so far and 1 assist as well. 2.2 shots on target, 2.2 shots per game and 1.4 of those on target per game. Pass numbers are not that good, but his key passes are looking good at 2 key passes per game. So So this guy is looking another really good option. He's also winning a number of ground duels as well, at 5.8 ground duels won per game. So again, he is another fantastic option to have in your Sorare lineup. So if we look at last season he scored 16 goals in 30 appearances and also chipped in with 5 assists as well. So we can expect some good scores from Rubio, but with his AA score not always being at his best, then you are not probably going to get the 80s or 90s that very often, but you are going to be getting these 70s and 60s areas in terms of the scores. So I think it's still a really, really good option. And another fantastic option is Lorenzo Insigne of Toronto. He's got a contract with them till 2026. He is only 31. I'm surprised he actually made the move to MLS this early on in his career. As you can see, he's going for quite a lot at the moment, but it's probably going to be worth that amount because he is a fantastic forward to have in your collection, especially in the Champion America division. He was of course previously playing for Napoli in Italy, where he was also on fantastic form for Napoli and also scoring fantastically well on Sorare. Now if we just filter this to the games that he's played for Toronto, all of the games, he did obviously join at the end of last season, and just filter it to the games where he's actually started, because he had been injured a little bit during his first campaign in the MLS and at the start of this season. But as you can see, all the games he's played so far where he's started he's been scoring 80s and 90s pretty much every single week. This guy is absolutely phenomenal, and I think he's going to be smashing plenty of 90s and 100 scores this season. If he can stay fit, of course, and I don't see why he can't. He didn't really have his injury concerns at Napoli previously, and he's got a long contract with Toronto as well, so expect plenty of years of fun from him if you have him in your collection. Did actually score as well in this last game against Philadelphia Union, which is the 4-2 thrashing for Toronto. But let's have a look at this goal from Lorenzo Insigne.
And both he and Insigne got in each other's way. Insigne looking for the return, gets in behind! Vintage Lorenzo Insigne!
So this season for Toronto then, as I say, he's had his injury concerns, still coming back from injury really. 3 appearances in total, 2 as starter, an average of 44 minutes. But he has scored 1 goal so far, and that was the goal that I've just shown you there. Shots on target per game and 2 shots per game in total. An average of 24 accurate passes per game and 1.3 key passes per game. Now bearing in mind guys that he's playing an average of 44 minutes per game, this shows that he is going to be causing quite a stir this season in the MLS. If we look at this game where he started, he scored 1 goal, 4 shots on target, 1 off target. He's got 56 accurate passes in this game, guys, and it's a match where Toronto actually lost 4-2, and he's also got 2 key passes as well. So I think we can expect to see more from these sort of numbers from Lorenzo Insigne, and he's showing the sort of numbers that's going to put him as one of the best forwards in the MLS. Once he gets back to full fitness, he's going to be banging in the goals, getting the assists, getting some fantastic scores. So next up then, we've got João Paulo of Seattle Sounders. He's 32, another one who's had a long injury layoff. He is back now though, of course, and he's got a contract till the end of the current MLS season. Going for pretty cheap at the moment, around £110 for his limited. So I think these prices could potentially creep up if he does get the scoring output that's expected of him. He's actually a midfielder on Sorare, and as you can see, he's got a long injury layoff here. So these are the games where he's actually come back. So still getting back to fitness as well, so don't let these lower scores deceive you. He didn't score anything here, still got a pretty decent score there and some good AA as you can see. But his scores do seem to be generally getting better, especially his latest game here with an all-round score of 45 and a score of 80 in a 1-0 win against Minnesota. If we have a look at all his games and filter it to the Seattle Sounders and then filter it to game started, we can see that he's got some fantastic scores historically, 70s, 80s, and also 4 100s in there as well. So he's definitely capable of getting those high scores. Now it says he was playing for Botafogo, but don't worry, that is just an error from SofaScore. He's actually still playing for Seattle. And if you can see, he's started 8 games this season. He's taking corners here for Seattle as well. No goals or assists, but he didn't really need them to get those peak scores. So he's got 58 accurate passes per game 89% accuracy. This is where his points are racking up here, guys, from these statistics here. So he's got 2.3 interceptions per game, 3.6 tackles per game, and 1.8 clearances per game. He's also winning 6.6 of his duels per game as well. So I think he's going to be a fantastic option, especially when he does get back to full fitness. He's definitely going to be one to have in your midfield slot. So let's have a quick look at the league table then as it stands in the MLS. So New England are top at the moment, joint top really with Cincinnati. New England are just taking the top spot over the goal difference. St. Louis City are still finding themselves near the top of the table as well, closely followed by Seattle. If we go to the more to the bottom of the table, we can see we've got Kansas City at the bottom there. Only no wins so far, 3 draws and 6 losses. That is atrocious, really. Only scored 3 and conceded 13. And LA Galaxy at the bottom as well, which is another surprise. And then Montreal and Inter Miami are not far behind. So that was the scouting for this week, guys, the MLS scouting. As I say, I'm going to be doing more of these scouting videos going forward now for all the leagues. So if you like this content, let me know, smash the like button there, and thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you again on the next video.